He's got something important to say.
Hey everybody, how you doing? Before we start and have our meal, I understand from my wife that we're having a roast tonight. And I want to tell you right now before we start, everything they say is a damn lie. Now, let's settle down. Thank you for being here. You have no idea how much it means to me to have you guys here tonight. And I do want to do one thing real quick. A lot of you don't know all my immediate family. Some of you know some of them, but many of you don't know any of them. So if they don't mind, I'm going to introduce them and have them stand up so you'll know who they are, so you can speak to them, and then you can ask them if I've always been the way they say I am, and they'll tell you no, that's not true. First of all, my brother, who has only been here a couple of times because he's the greatest Memphis Tiger fan that ever walked the face of the earth. I can't get him out of Memphis very often. Bob, he's sitting right here. Stand up or wave, Bob, will you? All right. And his wife, Pam. My oldest son, which many of you have not met before, Matt.
It's all true.
He's the oldest one, I think, that's ever played for me here tonight. His beautiful wife, Heather. And Emma, one of my granddaughters. Stand up, brother. Chase, his oldest son. They have two friends with them, Bama and Emily. There you go. And my second son, as far as eldest, Casey, he lives in Tennessee now. And his son, Cade. And my daughter, the third one in line here, as far as the times they were born, Mandy. Where's Mandy? And that's her newest friend, my newest granddaughter, Elizabeth. She has her sons here. Where are they? Big D, that's Desmond, and Cameron. I just wanted to make sure, and my wife, of course, which is extremely important and beautiful. Stand up, baby. She, I understand, is responsible for all of this. And my father-in-law and mother-in-law, the greatest ones in the world, Brad and Linda Bailey. And my brother-in-law, Bump, who I haven't even seen yet, but I understand he's in the building. Where's Bump? Justin Bailey. I call him Bump Bailey for the movie where the guy ran through the wall in the outfield. What was that movie, Casey? The Natural. Yeah, that's where he got his name. He was that kind of player for me. His young lady friend is here with him tonight too. What was our first name, baby? I forgot. What? Lisa. Yeah, there you go. Right, thank you.
You know, he's had a few. He went from salsa water to actual
You
drink.
got my other two children. They fought so much today, I wanted to forget. It was unbelievable. I don't know. Maybe they felt the stress. I don't know. Miss Bailey, stand up, Bailey, and wave. And Major, where's Major? And this is so important tonight for Major and Bailey that Major gave up a doubleheader. He was playing in a tournament over here at MSA in baseball, and he gave it up to be here tonight. Of course, not for Daddy. It was to be with his nephews there who have come to play with him. Thank you for that.
I've been part of the tradition here of Mandarin High School with Coach McCarter since the very beginning. I had found this in the closet. It says, "The Mandarin Mustang's legend begins." 1999. And we didn't know how long that legend was going to last. When Coach McCarter came, some people said he looks kind of old. And then there was some people that looked at the picture of that first team and said, God, he hasn't changed at all. So I kind of figured out he was really old when he came. But Coach McCarter has been a friend, a coach, a confidant to so many people. He's helped kids not only on the court, but in detention, and a lot of other places. There aren't too many coaches that invest as much heart as Coach McCarter. And we're all here tonight to celebrate him. And there's so many things that probably are going to be said. And we'll get down to those things a little bit later. But I've been asked to lead us in a word of blessing on our food and our time together. And I had the joy a number of years ago to join Coach McCarter and Trish in marriage in the atrium out there, or the courtyard at Mandarin High School. It was quite an occasion. How many people were there for that wedding? Yeah, quite a few already. That's great. And we've got some awesome people here tonight. Before I pray, all the players that have come back, would you all stand so we can recognize you guys? I know Coach McCarter always was relying on his managers. So if you were somebody that helped the team in some way as a manager or whatever, would you stand? And then I know there's some coaches here tonight that have worked together with Coach McCarter. Would you guys stand? Coach Bob? So would you bow with me now in prayer? Our Father in heaven, we thank you tonight for the blessing of this evening. Thank you for Coach McCarter, for Trish, for their family that's joined us here tonight. Thank you for all the hours, not only on the court, but personal phone calls and all those kind of things that are needed to get kids through those immature years of high school, to get them on into adulthood. We thank you for your presence here tonight. We ask your blessing upon this food. We thank you for the good time that we're enjoying together. And we ask all these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Thank you.
Testing. Oh, it works. It's on. We're going to get started, guys. As you already know, this is a basketball room, and at 9 o'clock, the NBA Finals are coming on. So for all of you who didn't think I wasn't going to advocate for that, don't worry. I'm your guy. Do you need some, Coach? There it is. You're taking notes?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, for rebuttals? There's rebuttals to all the stuff. See, Coach, you know, it's going to be funny because we're going to do like a roast tribute kind of thing. But literally, I'm telling you, you don't have to be very nervous at all. Because most of us, it's the true testament to the man that you are. We just felt we couldn't find too many good stories that we could tell with children in the room. So just because of how far you're willing to go, you're safe. This isn't the place for all these stories to be told, I promise you. $5. See? All the players know what that means. Seriously, guys, a few months ago, Trish reached out to me and she asked me if I would be honored enough to MC or roast Coach McCarter. And of course, it was a quick yes because of everything that you meant to me as a young man and as a grown man. And hopefully tonight, as you guys listen to all of my former teammates, we're having a debate over there what team was the greatest team in Mandarin history, but we'll let Coach decide that a little later. There's only 2 years we're debating, by the way, so if you were in 01 or 02, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Keep your name out the hat and just understand and nod your head. It's true. But Coach, I think it's important and it's amazing for your kids, the older ones and the younger ones, to kind of see who their dad really is from the outside looking in. And the man that we know, that we've grown to love, is amazing. He's special, and he has been impactful upon our lives for a very long time. But first, before we lose track, Trish, you're awesome. You set it all up. You got us all here in the thing, and just give Trish a round of applause. Truly awesome. She worked tirelessly because she knows his ex-players, and some of y'all just paid this morning, and all that kind of stuff. And she rallied us all together. She made sure that we're here. It's an honor. This great man. Tonight, you guys are going to hear from, I want to say it's 8 of us. There's eight people that are going to come up here and talk tonight and kind of go through their time frame. I think we got a little bit of everything covered. We didn't go as far back as your son, but we started in the Lakeland area. So if there's anybody from that time frame before that wants to talk, open mic at 9 o'clock. As you move kind of the thing. So there'll be 8 people playing, ex-managers or players. Don't worry, he's not married to any of us. We're all good there. As we're moving through that whole thing. So the first gentleman to come to the mic, he wasn't very creative. I gave all of them an opportunity to give me a little something to say about themselves, so I got you, Chris. The first one to come to the mic is Chris Ammons, one of Coach McCarter's most skilled, talented, savvy, smooth, Kevin Love look-alike kind of people you'll ever meet. Who played from the years of 2003, 2007. Great guy. Again, Coach, I didn't read anyone's speech, so I'm not responsible for anything that could be said outside of what I do.
I don't know about Kevin Love. I don't get hurt every 2 seconds, so I don't know about that. I don't know about playing 4. I was point guard for a long time, so I got most of the airfuls for my team. So I don't know about the best team, 01, 02. I believe my teams had 2 of the 4. Just saying. I mean, not keeping track or anything. So 07, we probably have some. You keep rolling back. That's championships are what matter. Ask LeBron. Anyway, so I was asked to come up with some stories about McCarter and things that I experienced from my time frame, and I was like, is there a beeping machine or maybe some asterisks I can put out there? But all seriousness, the one story I remember, and this explains Coach McCarter to a T, is we were in Lakeland for a Christmas tournament, and in comes a newscast. We had an anchorman, a news guy with the camera, we had a sound guy, Orlando Sentinel. They come walking in, they come up to McCarter, and McCarter goes, "What the hell are you interrupting my practice for?" And the guy goes, "We're here to interview the kid with the prosthetic leg." And without even hesitation, he goes, "Chris, go put your leg on." And I was like, all right, that's fine. So I went and I had a neoprene sleeve, and the guy comes up and he goes, "Yeah, a parent said that you have a starting point guard with a prosthetic leg." And McCarter goes, "That's the dumbest, stupidest waste of time I've ever heard." He goes, "This is the kid right here." I come over and I show the guy the sleeve. And McCarter goes, "Okay, that's great. I'll get the hell out of my practice and let us continue what we're doing." The guy goes, "Okay." And he stood there and watched him the entire way across that court until the man left the door and was like, "Goodbye," and shut the door. But that just kind of McCarter in a nutshell. Another story I had was halftime of the game. We were losing, so we got a famous Coach McCarter pep talk, which I can't say for words, but he turned and decided, those players that know there's 2 doors going in our boys' locker room. One's locked, one's open. The other one never unlocks. He turns and gives a full kick to the locked door. Well, the locked door won, Coach McCarter went down. He stands up, turns to us, goes, "Who locked the goddamn door?" And everybody pointed at somebody different, like we actually did. But I think we came back and won that game, or we would have ran a couple too many that night. But in all seriousness, Coach McCarter, like so many of us in here, means the world to us. I mean, you can see the range of guys from back in the day, we won't say years, to this past year he did middle school. Not only on the court, off the court, he's there for you whenever you need him. He taught all of us what it's like to become a man, on the court, off the court, running, and running. But it was all worth it, and I don't think one guy in this room would trade one suicide or 17 or long night till 1 o'clock in the morning running for any of that. So that's what good old Coach McCarter means to me, and I think that's a good way to start off, so I'll let whoever's next go.
We're still the best. Everybody has dreams. Everybody has dreams. The reason why Coach never kicked that locked door because he always came in halftime up when we were playing. Just saying. Just pointing out some small facts. Next we're going to go back all the way to his Lakeland days when from my understanding, he was a much better coach when he was coaching the women down in Lakeland. Probably because they probably listen to you more than we do. But obviously, as the next player, there it is. See, giving shout-outs I didn't even know.
And more talented too.
I agree. I know there's no doubt about that. It's actually funny because that's when I met Star and some of the other people was we weren't playing so good, so he brought in what he called his most successful team to help us understand how we should be playing. So I mean, he's told that story more than once. He's not lying. We couldn't shoot nothing at. Y'all are always better, more fundamentally sound. Damn it! That's his coach. But next up is going to be Star Sanders. She played for Coach from 1995 to 1999. Gonna capture him when he had a little bit more hair on the top of his head and not on his face. We've all been arguing about that too, Coach. You know, we couldn't wear facial hair when we played, but all of a sudden now you're just Patrick Swayze over there.
Gibby just made me a little older than I am. I actually played for Coach. I almost forgot how old I was. Oh man, he was right. Hold on. Oh, all right. So you're right. 95 to 99. My bad, Gibby. I almost was finna go off. All right. So my name is Star Sanders, and I played for Coach at George Jenkins High School. And I was trying to think of what kind of stories to tell. I think trying to wind them down to a good number was a little bit harder than I could ever imagine because there's so much that happened and went on. I was one of those players who never played before, decided, hey, ninth grade, let's try it. Probably was not the best idea to come to Coach McCarter with that type of attitude, but that's what I did. And I heard someone earlier say something about immature high schoolers and stuff like that. So I was one of those immature, didn't realize I was that immature until Coach McCarter made sure I knew. I was unaware that you could run so much. And our school was built on hills. And we ran the hills till we couldn't run the hills anymore. And so my freshman year is probably my best story ever because I was unaware of all the running that this man was going to have us do. So we're running on the football field doing conditioning. I've never seen anyone pass out before in my life or anything like that, but I was going to try it. It was premeditated. I was like, when to go down, I think this next sprint, I'm just going down. Like, I wasn't real sure, like, when or how I was going to do it. So in the middle of the sprint, I just act like I fainted. I just fell out. I'm laying on the ground. Trish runs over with some water, put it on my face, and people kind of around me. Coach McCarter, he was not running. He walked over. I think he didn't kick me, but nudged me a little bit. He says, hell, she's breathing harder than I am. Look at the idiot right there. Oh, man. The worst part is I was like, when do I get up? You faint like you faint, you'll know when it's okay to get up. But those was Star Sanders' experiences right there. Next year, I decided I was gonna fake like my knee went out. Never had knee problems, but we were running heels. Had to keep running them. So you gotta touch the fence, you don't touch the fence, then the heel didn't count. It's like, next heel I'm going down. I was like, what does it look like if your knee go out? Well, in my point of view, I got scared. I just went rolling down the hill. But coach knew me by then. He knew I do stupid stuff. So he's like, move your ass off to the side. We're still running. So I just scooted off to the side. And I was like, when to get up. So, yeah, you know. So my 11th grade year, coach had a meeting with me, called me and he said, Star, now you're an upperclassman. You gotta be a leader. It's time to cut shit. Don't do nothing this year. You can't fake like you're doing anything this year. I was like, damn. But I stopped just like that, and I know that sounds crazy. He told me not to do it anymore, and I didn't. So I really want to thank Coach because I never played before, and I went on to even play in college and was really successful. This man really worked us, and you know, we was a few idiots. I mean, but you know, we worked pretty hard. You know, he gonna cuss you out. He gonna make you play better. But not gonna play for a meat market college playing like that, Star. So yeah, you know. Why am I here? No, I'm just kidding. But I love Coach to death. You know, he just helped me out so much. Him and Trish just giving me rides all the time because my mama wasn't having it. So, you know, just always there for us, pushed us, attitude adjustments, all of that in Miami in the rain on the tennis court when you don't play right. So, you know, keep running, didn't care. But it made us honestly just, we were great. We were so successful and very rarely missed any games, lost any games. We were better than y'all team, by the way, Gibby. You know, no, and everybody else in here probably, you know, we didn't really lose. So, you know, we worked real hard. We did listen and just, you know, thank you, Coach, for everything that you are to everybody in this room. Great turnout, just everything is amazing, and I love you.
I want to respond to that comment. 3 daughters and 1 power. 1 power. Also, before we get too far, there's 2 other individuals I want to recognize. Coach Boggs, who was one of Coach McCarter's right-hand men. And also Coach Jackson, who was Coach McCarter's other right-hand man. And Coach Curl, not able to be here, obviously, but Coach Curl as well was also instrumental part of what we did and we put together those few years as well. So just I didn't want those names without going being said as we honor the big guy. Isn't that interesting that everybody calls you the big guy and you're not really? I just thought about when I looked at you just now, I said, you're really not that big. But the next guy we have coming up was a teammate of mine, part of one of those best men years that Coach McCarter had, and KT Thomas or Kevin Thomas, I don't know what you go by now, you're grown, so you know. I still go by Gibby sometimes, but you know, Jabron too, it's cool. Well, KT was an amazing athlete, amazing player, good friend, and a good man. He played with Coach from 1998 to 2001. He left before we got really good, but he was there, you know, one of those really good years that we had over there. So Mr. Kevin Thomas.
before he sits down, just let him know that I was part of that team that won 25 games and made it further than any other team has made it in Mandarin history. So I was on that team. That so-called team after us didn't do very well, if I remember. I got the phone calls in Tennessee, Tron Griffin. You know what I'm talking about. But when Trish told me she was going to do this event for Coach, you know, I knew there was no way I could miss it. I had to come down here. You know, me and my family drove 16 hours to be here, and wouldn't have missed it for the world. I remember when Coach was first introduced to me as a new coach over at Mandarin. You know, we were coming off a year we won 4 games. You know, we were bad. We were very, very terrible. And Coach comes in the cafeteria. And I remember looking at him. I said, "Man, did they hire Steve Fisher? Is he the guy that just got hired?" I mean, he reminded me so much of Steve Fisher. So that was my first impression when I met Coach. I can remember that first year in conditioning. You know, it was a lot different from the former coach. And he kind of said, he's like, "I'm gonna tell you right now, KT, some of these people ain't gonna make it. So just be prepared for it." And sure enough, we started off with about 80 kids, and by the end of conditioning, there was about probably 20 left. He ran a lot of them off that weren't really serious about basketball. So that was something that I think Coach definitely got his players prepared for the next level and got us prepared to play at the college level if that's what we kind of plan to do. Coach is also probably the most injury-prone person I've ever seen in my life. He's had more surgeries and more injuries than any human being could ever possibly have. Let's see, I know Chris already talked about him kicking the door. He probably tore his ACL when that happened. I had surgery on that. I can remember us playing bowls and Coach calling a timeout and him yanking a tooth out in the middle of a game. Who loses a tooth in the middle of a game? You know, his first year, I can remember calling Coach up and or come to school the next day, his arm was in a sling. I said, "Coach, what happened?" He said, "Well, I was watching the Memphis game, and I went to step out on the porch and forgot the door was closed, stepped and fell through and landed out on the balcony outside." So he had to wait for a neighbor to come pick him up off the floor and help him up. At this point, Coach was living by himself, so if nobody would have came around, he'd probably still be laying there right now. But Coach, we say all this out of love. We love you to death. If it weren't for Coach, I wouldn't be where I'm at today. There's no question. He believed in me when a lot of people didn't think I was capable of playing at the college level, and he gave a push and pushed me to move on to the next level, and I'm very appreciative of that. I know there's a lot of other guys in this room, from the young guys all the way down to the old timers that if it weren't for Coach, we wouldn't be where we're at. So, thanks, Coach.
That was the most I've heard Kevin talk in a long time. He's like the quiet one in the group. He's so eloquent, so much brilliance to say. I need you to talk more often. The next young man, well, I guess no one's a young man anymore. The next grown man to come speak in front of you guys is Coach's first manager in 2000. And he also coached with Coach McCarter from 2008 to 2011. Nicholas Robinson, who all of us have become to know and love as one of Coach's, you're like a pupil of the Coach McCarter ideology and philosophies. And I'm sure the behind the scenes stuff he said about us for real, we would like to know now, Nick. This is your time to get it off your chest.
First off, I just have to say, finally, all those half times that we sat there and Coach just rambled on, and time ran out, and lots of stuff I wanted to say, but Coach always took the time away from us. We never made it out on the halftime floor in time. Another thing I want to say is, anybody that's been around Coach, to his house, hanging out with him, just relaxing, he takes these power naps. He just passes out. And you can say, "Hey, wake up!" And he's like, "I ain't sleeping, what you talking about?" So now that you are retired, it is fine. You can sleep all you want to. You don't have to lie to us and tell us that you're not napping anymore. And another thing about Coach, I've had the privilege to be around a lot of his friends, his family. He's actually, a lot of y'all don't know it, but I'm one of his surrogate sons because one of his sons moved to Tennessee. So in case he's not in the state of Florida, Coach calls me his other son now. But he's got so many nicknames, and some of them are not appropriate, and we call each other Dick Face, Dickhead, Big Boy. His brother calls him Johnny. Who the hell knows where that came from? So I was thinking about it. I was like, he must be getting ready for like the witness protection program or something someday, somewhere. So, and I'll tell a story about myself, and many of you know this story that are in this room right now. So we went to UCF, down to UCF area for a Christmas holiday tournament, and PJ at the time was playing at UCF. And Thaddeus had lost the privilege to be the navigator. So I became the navigator.
That was a mistake.
That was a mistake. And it was a mistake I took the job too.
Yes, it was.
Yes, there's Mr. Amos. And he gave me the hardest time for this. So imagine a boys team, a girls team. I say there was 20 cars in this caravan. Over the years it's probably grown. It's probably 30 now. So we're trying to get to UCF, and I have the illustrious duty of leading this caravan. And let's just say 2 out of the 30 cars got there.
And one of them wasn't cooked.
And one was not Coach. It was me and Coach Porter. We were the only ones to make it. So we sat here in this game, and I'd already gotten several phone calls and been chewed out about 700 times. And I'm not enjoying this basketball game. I think we left at halftime, actually, because I told Coach Porter, I was like, we got to get the heck out of here. I'm not enjoying myself. So on the way home, also at the time, which was a great thing, is my brother became a manager, and I got to spend time with him as he was going through high school, which was great. But so my brother's in the passenger seat, and Coach calls me, and I'm more pissed off than I can be. And this is probably, there's only 2 times me and Coach have been totally mad at each other, and this is one of them. I took the phone and I threw it down in my truck and I said, I don't want to talk to that SOB right now. And we were yelling and screaming. We got back to the hotel, and the funny thing is, and it's always happened with me and him, is we could fight, go at each other like we were going to kill each other, and then 5 minutes later we're hugging and laughing like we're old friends. But a lot of those people, Mr. Amos always gives me a hard time every time he sees me about that. But, you know, since this is a roast, if you want, you can officially apologize for that now in front of all these people about the time you gave me for that. All right, I figured that was what's going to happen. The other story I'll tell, which just is not basketball related.
Tell them why we weren't following you.
Because y'all were driving so slow.
We were going 5 miles over the speed limit. He was going 90 to 95.
Yeah, I was not going that fast. I've been told that I drive slower than most people do. So,
Not that night.
well, not that night, I guess. I guess in my younger days, I drive a little faster. I'll tell you this other story. This is the second time me and Coach fought, and Trish was involved in this one. This was at the house, and me and Coach share a lot of the same opinions of the world, but in the political realm, as much as we differ, we are the same. But one night we got into it, and we were yelling, cursing at each other, giving each other the business. And Trish was back in her office working, and we were at the front door just going at each other, and the babies were back in their bed. And this may be the only time Trish came out and yelled at me or cursed at me, and she looked at both of us and told us, "You dumb bleep, 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 bleeps. Get the hell out of my house." She's like, "Y'all are going to wake the babies." And me and Coach at that instance looked at each other once again, laughed at each other, hugged and kissed, and made up. And it was, it's always with Coach. It's been great because we can disagree, and then we can always be right back where we were 5 seconds later. Another thing about Coach is, going back with KT said, he is injury prone, and he had back surgery. How long ago was that? A while ago. Couple years. And let me just say, I know Coach better than I know any else in this room right now, because I went over there and helped him out, and I had to help out in ways I never thought I would know Coach McCarter. And so it's a good thing I'm a part of his family now in many ways because I know him so well. But Coach is been there for me since he came. Actually, this big picture here, I'm over there on the left-hand side for you guys, me in my younger days. So I've known him probably one of the longest out of any of the Mandarin people here. I never got the privilege to play for him, but he gave me one of the greatest gifts I think I can ever have growing up. I got the ability to be called coach because he let me on his coaching staff. And that's been a huge thing for me, to be called coach by many of these young men who are now grown men here. It's been a privilege. He's, like I said, he's let me, we spend more time together than I think we probably should have many a times, but he has let me into his family, and he's just a great man, and I will always be grateful for him. And it's funny, he's my coach, my best friend, old enough to probably be my dad in some ways, my grandfather in many other ways. So he's covered the gamut of everything for me, and but I love him for it, and I'm just glad we all got together here today to give him this honor, because he is a great man, and he's done many great things for all of us, and he's helped me out in many more ways than I can ever express to all y'all here today.
Coach, you've had a lot of surgeries. I think a lot of us have been there to take care of you. I don't know if I want to tell the surgery that I had to take care of you about, but you know, why not? I was called to duty one time for Coach too, and this is kind of when I knew that we were closer than I ever thought he was. And I can use technical terms. This will go over a lot of the young people's heads. Perfect. I was there when Coach had his reverse vasectomy. And my job was pass him the damn peas. And I will never forget the size of his gym shorts the day after that surgery. It was, Trish, you're lucky. But really seriously, guys, Coach, you've been amazing to all of us. We have a lot of stories for you over time. The next one is another pupil of yours. As Nick, he has been honored, and still is, a coach. He learned from your tutelage, and you know, it's kind of cool, I think, for you to see. And we love the game enough to stay with it. The next young man played on that greatest team. He played 2000, 2001, 2002. He was the starting 3-guard, coming off the bench, number 24, Jay Willis. He was an amazing man. So Jay, come up here and tell us what your coach has taught you. Greatest team, Coach. I want you to, as you're taking notes, make sure it's not a rebuttal about what your greatest team was.
All right, first off, good evening, everyone. Coach, we love you. I'm not going to roast Coach. I'm going to tribute the Coach. Probably the funniest thing I remember is one time I was cutting Coach's lawn, and I was on a riding lawnmower, and in the back of Coach's house, the grass gets a little slick just by the edge of the water, and I remember kind of hook sliding the lawnmower, and one of the tires were in the water, and somebody came over with a 4-wheeler and helped us pull it out. So I appreciate you allowing me to do that. But there are three things that I want to talk about tonight that I learned from Coach. And the first is Coach taught us to never be strangers. As a player, even now as a 32-year-old man, I can call Coach at any time of the night, any time of the day, and Coach has never been too busy for any of us. The second thing that Coach taught me is to build a family through basketball. That's something that I've adopted as myself as a coach. That's why you see the proof of all these young men here and women here tonight. We have something that's called an old timers game, where we have so many guys to where we had to break it up in decades of who was playing with who. And I'm sure there are kids that I know down at Union County, down at Yulee, down at Potter's House, at Raines, down at State Fair, down at Prairie View, over at Sandalwood, who have all been just the fruit of your labor. We've all gone out and taught that same message of family through basketball. And lastly, I think that the greatest tribute that anyone can have is to become what you are as a professional. So the fact that you were able to coach us and now I'm standing here as a coach is a tribute to everything that you did as a coach. And I do want to just remind you of one little thing. I do think I am unique in this one particular thing. I think I am the only person to play for coach, coach with coach, and show up on an opposing sideline and get a win at coach's place. I love you, and I appreciate everything you've done for me.
Good shot. That was a heck of a shot. Got that on.
This guy is just so well spoken, so well dressed, you know. The next young man that I want to, he's special to me as well as the coach, but he's part of the last of the Washington legacy, and you know, honor obviously so probably the best of us all in terms of the human being and the individual that he is. But my little brother was one of Coach's, well, I can tell that at the end, but one of Coach's promises that he made to my dad. So, you know, as I introduce Keem, it means a lot to me, really what he did. And I'm going to tell my story last. But you know, it's special who you are and what you did for the Washington family in particular. You're you. He taught my older brother. I mean, coached and taught my older brother, taught me and coached me. Well, I was his teacher assistant, so I don't know if he really taught me, but I got an A. And speaking of teachers, there are some wonderful teachers that I just have to say thank you to. My public speaking teacher. If me, Jay, or Sean don't look good enough, or Johnson, I'm sorry, Johnson was in that class too, don't do well tonight, you can blame her, or you can thank her for allowing us to be able to do this. And Mama McCoy, and there's a lot of teachers back there, it's not anybody else, but Mama McCoy, you earned that name for a reason. And you are definitely a loved one of all of us sitting around all these tables, Mama McCoy and Mama McVeigh. So we thank you because you guys are LFI supporters. And then the last woman, Miss Kinsley, you're not going to get left out either. As a supporter as well, the PTA mom, the Miss Everything. And unfortunately, her son isn't here tonight, but another brother of ours that's missing in action. But I just want to honor the people that at least were around me while I was there. But the next young man again, my little brother, the best looking one out of all of us. I don't know if that's saying much, but Akeem the Dream. He played from 04 to 08, and we just call those the holdover years. They weren't great, but they weren't bad. And that was when Amos was playing with him. So I'm just saying. Here you go, little brother.
I believe those years beat those. Did I remember that?
Never beat us.
Bull.
Never.
I was running the clock. You got beat.
First off, I want to disagree with this being the biggest pitcher here. I didn't like this, you know, because of course 04 to 08 was his best years, his most promising years. It's the most years all the returning players did come back, and yes, we did beat you guys in those years. So, like, it's like when Golden State talking versus like the old Jordan team. We actually did play you guys and beat you guys, so let's put that on the record. That's cool.
Appreciate that honor calling us the Bulls and Michael Jordan.
Well, anyways,
We'll take that over here.
I've known this guy here since I was running around, since I was about like 10, 11 years old. Yeah, I was back here this first very team here. I had no choice but to come to management. It was already predestined for me to come to management. I didn't really have another choice. I thought I was coming into something that was fun, the brotherhood, you know. You see everybody here coming back, but little did I know that this brotherhood that you do see here, we were hazed. And this was the haze master. And what I mean by that is, there we go, sorry, right, correct? As you were saying earlier, as running. I might have been the best actor out of anybody here about getting out from running. Any of my teammates can tell you. I ran into basketball carts. I tripped over, pulled hamstrings, faked like I had to go to the bathroom. But I never got out of it because he taught there was no shortcuts. Because after I was healthy, whatever was going on, he had the number of sprints that I skipped in his head that I had to run afterwards. So One thing that he taught us all here, and everybody can attest to this, he taught us how to be men. He taught us that there was no shortcuts here in life. As much as we all hated him, we came together and we formed this brotherhood here. I've talked to many of people who went to many high schools throughout the city of Jacksonville, and nobody comes back like this. Nobody comes to old-timer games. Nobody talks to people from previous years. We have people here from, we're talking Lakeland, from a span of 20 years of people that's coming back to give a tribute to this man. He taught us how to be successful in life. And people here can tell you, because there's people that did quit from when, it's funny, the people that did quit that were on the basketball team joined the military. He ran the military type basketball team, no facial hair. Bad grades, you're running. DCs, midterm, you're running. He didn't play about it. He taught us how to become men. He taught us how to handle women. I will say that. He was a teacher, a man of many trades. He kept it real. I will not tell stories, but I would just say he did keep it real, and he taught us how to become men. And it's more than just on the court. And it's something that, without words, I can really explain of how much he especially did for the family that I come from, of always being there. And he's that type for every player that's ever played for him. Like somebody did say earlier that no matter what time you call him, he will pick up. He will pick up and he will talk to you, no matter what's going on. There's many stories I've told him of us. I'm not going to say any names here because I know some stories. Of men coming to his home crying on his couch about women. Breaking down to Coach McCarter. He was our confidant. He was somebody we looked up to that gave us the real, gave it to the black and white that our parents wouldn't necessarily explain it to us, but gave it from that point of view. You know, it's something that we sit here and we thank you. I can't thank you enough for making us all men. We all can sit here and say we're men. We now have families, we have jobs, and we're successful, and this is because of you. We graduated from your 4-year program that was college before college, and to put us in this position to be successful as men going throughout life. And we just thank you, T-Mac.
It's always cool when your little brother grows up and becomes something else, you know. And you know, you're the hand in all of that, so we can appreciate you. The conditioning and the running, that is so you, Coach. You were bad. You really were. And how did you keep track of all that in your head?
I don't know.
I mean, because I don't think anyone's ever beaten a sprint.
I hated running so bad when I played.
Because you're not a good runner. You mean,
No.
You're one of the most unathletic people I know. But one good thing I will say is, you know, you can shoot a hell out of a free throw. I mean, he's beaten every player in this room in a free throw competition. I was the first to beat you. Three? No. Maybe that was Stars years. But by the time you got with us, that shoulder was bad, and you shot more like it. So your range was about free throwing in, Coach. Free throwing in. Just saying, Coach. Just saying. But some of those things about being a man and those lessons he taught that my brother mentioned is so true. And I think that is something that is missing with a lot of youth today is having other men teach us how to be men and kind of read between the lines with us. We need more of you out there. So, you know, if you want to just take a part-time job as a coach counselor or something, you know, you still need it. Service isn't over yet because, you know, we need your words as we continue to do this thing. But the next young man has the most complicated name of any of Coach McCarter's players. He is a silent assassin. He has obviously not heard of Hair Club for Men. And his name is Johnson Yusef Zada. Played from 2000 to 2004.
Yeah, man, I appreciate you throwing the hair joke in there. What's that? I just love you so much, I want to look just like you. I came prepared tonight, not so much with the speech, but I didn't know how risque this was going to get. I'm really honestly a little bit like, Gibby talks a big game, I figured everybody else would kind of follow his lead, but he's been pretty tame. There hasn't been a whole lot of the roasting side. And when I realized it's not a knock on Gibby, it's just
Coach is either all love, everything here is all love, or it's just too X-rated. It's just too far. There's not really an in-between, right? So if we went in between, Akeem like started speaking what was going through my head, and I think the story he's got lined up is the same story I got. I just don't know if it's appropriate to bring it up. It's the one about. Sorry?
I know we're talking about Lon Don Silver, right?
I don't actually know that story. I was talking about the women advice.
Oh, well, that was
And I recall, I think this might have been when I was visiting, but I was in the weight room with a lot of the younger guys when Coach said what I'm talking about. So it might have been your time. Might be the same story. But yeah, I did come prepared. I didn't know how much we'd push that boundary, and if we did, I figured we would probably cross the line. So I came prepared with tube socks on. I thought we were going to be running. I had basketball shoes in the car. So
You are if you cross that line.
yeah. So I will hold that story back, but I came ready just in case. I mean, that is funny. People commented on the sprints, but I don't know if anybody else still has nightmares. Get in the line. Get in the line. Get in the line.
You're welcome.
There you go. Somebody else said attitude adjustment. I hadn't heard that in a while. I probably have some memories. But I mean, we're here because Coach. We call you Coach, but you truly are. I look back and I thought back coming into this weekend, coming back to town for this, and you really are one of my greatest teachers in life, and I think probably for a lot of us here. You've just been a teacher in all aspects of the word, not just class, but in sport, in life, in women, in life experiences. I think Akeem was talking about me a lot, whether he realized it or not. I'm pretty sure I cried on your couch about women. I'm pretty sure I called crying to you when I lost a friend or lost somebody close to me, didn't know how to handle it. You know, I'm pretty sure I talked to you before I kind of made sense of what I want to do with my life and proposed to my now wife, like all the big stuff. I'm pretty sure you're on my short list of people to run it by before I, made a move I wasn't prepared to make. So, you've been a huge teacher, Coach. And so, as far as being prepared with this talk, I'm just going to go stream of consciousness. I didn't really prepare what to talk about too much. I figured it would just flow once we got up here. But that's the big thing, Coming back is pretty awesome. I never really paid attention much or went to any school reunions. I moved to Florida from Connecticut when I was starting high school. So I was here a matter of weeks or months. My sister already knew some of these fools in here. So it was just coming in and tagging along and getting introduced to people. And I'm pretty sure Coach was the first person I met. She took me straight to Coach's classroom and said, my brother likes basketball. He's planning on playing basketball here. Just wanted you to know him. So from there, I get along with a lot of these guys. I'm a year or two under some of them, but these were my brothers in high school. I had more friends in this class here than I did my own age group or whatever, and I was pretty much, quiet kid, but I just played ball. That's where I expressed myself, so that's where I spend my time. Didn't get comfortable behind a mic till I had Miss McVeigh's class, right? That's intimidating, Tron, Jay, and Gibby in that order. Pretty much positive I sat somewhere there in the class and they sat there. That's pretty much how it was lined up. I think my first speech was about how to shoot a basketball.
Yes, it was.
Tough to elbowing, you get it there. So yeah, you were a big part of that, Coach, me first getting here, and that's a big time in life, learning and figuring a lot of stuff out. And some of these guys here played a big part in that, and you're the common piece there. And I was saying I didn't pay attention to. I never went to a high school reunion. I'm looking at it now. This is my high school reunion, and this is a pretty awesome moment because I think you're about to move, right? There's not going to be another time like this for most of us. There's probably, unfortunately, not going to be too many more old timers games where we all get in the same place in Mandarin's gym and all that. It's just we're all getting older, and that made me think about how old you are, Coach, because you were old when we all met you. We are getting older now, but you are already old. And I went on to school. We have a couple smart guys. Mr. Steak's kids, they're all doctors or doctors to be, right? So I'm not quite on that part, but I'm a doctor of physical therapy, and so all these broken things he's got going on, that's what I do. And I got to try and help him out a couple times in the last few years, and I can attest to what all these guys are saying from a professional perspective. Coach is broken. You need a lot of broken stuff. I remember being in the gym, ice pack, he had to sit on it. I remember that one. Reverse vasectomy. I remember the shoulders. You guys saw us toast over there. Did anybody see that? Shoulders don't get up here anymore. There's no more hand in the cookie jar. There's no more hand in the cookie jar. It's all touch now. A little fling. His back, I was there for the back, and I'm sure there's a bunch of other stuff, knees and ankles and feet and all kind of stuff. But yeah, when
you play hard, that's what happens.
That's what happens. You earned it. So, Coach, you've been a great teacher. Well, what do we got going on over there, Thaddeus?
I was there when he threw his shoulder out on the bench at bowling. He looked at me and said, "I think I threw my shoulder out." Yeah, it was sitting up here. Yeah, he did.
So yeah, a lot of memories. You know, this is an awesome time. It's special to be back here, and especially for this reason. And I was talking with Coach a week ago, and not to put like a sad element on it. There's no reason to be sad, but Coach is funny as hell and also like dark as hell at the same time. He said, you know, shoot, I don't want you guys having a nice party and celebration when I'm dead in a couple decades. I want to enjoy that party. I want to see all your faces. So he said, this isn't just my retirement. This is my funeral in advance. I want to party. I want to see you guys. So that's really what we're here. We're not just talking about retirement. We're here celebrating Coach's impact on all of us, right? And so that impact's gone pretty far. You know, as far as being a teacher, it covers so many bases. Coach was my teacher, probably all of our teachers. I think we all had to take psychology or something like that. So psychology, sociology, that was Coach. How many people in here, I want to see a raise of hands, I'm curious more than anything. How many of you guys were teacher's assistants? Right? I had it lined up well. I had like psychology and then sociology and then teacher's assistant role. So I mean, I'm a straight-laced guy. I did my work. I paid attention. I earned my A. But I also had teacher's assistant. I can't tell you how many times Coach bought me Subway at lunchtime. We got off campus and he can't tell you how many Subways I owe him. I need to take him out or give him a big gift card right now. But I remember him, you know, don't worry about it, Johnson. Just get it to me later when you're out working. Get it to me some other time. So I owe him a lot of Subway. But he would take care of me in that regard. Probably some of these beautiful ladies back here, these classes, these teachers we had back here. I can remember a time or two I showed up late, or I slept in, or I probably did something stupid, borderline, and it was the detention, it wasn't this, and wasn't that. And the first thing that came to my mind was, I wasn't so much worried about what my dad would think, but sure, you don't want that to get back home. You don't want to get on your record. You want Coach to find out because you have to miss practice for detention. So, you know, Coach was cool about it. He said he smoothed it over. He let those ladies off the hook and let me off the hook, and I thought I was golden, but then I would make up for it with sprints. And so it's this weird balance of Coach, you know, made you earn every bit, but he also kind of had a safe place where he kind of cultivated us as young men and brought us along. But, you know, those sprints were no joke either. And I'm amazed. That's one thing. We'll talk crap all night to these guys down here, but one thing I'm impressed by is that when I first came in, and from that first meeting I had with you, all I heard was 11-second sprints. You better be ready for that. I was like, what the fuck are they talking about? I don't know what 11-second sprint is. What do they mean?
It was 11 for you guys?
When I started, I was there for that. When we started, when I first came around, it was 11, and then every couple months, every year, 10, 9, 8, 7. What was it when you guys were playing? 7. I don't know anybody that can run a 7-second sprint. You say I don't even know how that happens. 8, you know, that's a down and back, not just down. So. I don't know, I remember Gibby pulling me under his wing, dude, you gotta stop early and really cut and power back. Don't go all the way to the line. You have to like cut it short and touch it and go. So,
committing, son. You're
right, Johnson, you're trying too hard. You gotta get savvy here. So, you know, that's a funny thing, but we earned every step of the way. I do remember the one practice I showed up late. I think I did, I want to say like 60 or 70 7-second sprints or some crap like that, and that sounds bad until you realize I was only like 40 minutes late. For whatever reason, it was a Saturday practice after a game or something. Somebody else was like 50 minutes late, and they had 120. And then another dude missed the whole damn practice. He had like 180 7-second sprints. The gym count. That was fun. So yeah, Coach kept us out of trouble, put us in trouble, made us earn it, made us learn a lesson, you know. Watching film. spent a lot of time with Coach at his house. It wasn't just crying about women and this and that. That stuff came later. That life stuff came later, right? But in high school, that was film. We'd go over to Coach's house, watch film. I don't remember how often it was. Twice a week, once a week, something like that. I'd go with my buddy Brad, who couldn't make the night, but I just remember, talking too much, thinking too much. How did you do that? How did you do that? Shut up. Just shut up. You just go get the ball. Go get the ball is what you do. So, learn a lot. Learn the game. I was a student of the game. Got to figure out when to think and when just to get after stuff and just go and just make it happen. So a lot of those kind of lessons that play out in life, learn on Coach's couch. Biggest thing about being a teacher is, Coach, you taught me in so many ways. And it was really just, I think the sign of a good teacher is giving you what you need when you need it, kind of thing. So early on, younger kid, confidence was a thing, right? I didn't feel like I lacked confidence, but I wasn't Gibby, right? I was a young kid coming in and figuring my stuff out. I played a lot, I loved the game, but I didn't just exude confidence, right? Coach put that in me to a certain extent, and probably for a lot of you guys here, because I hear it other places too. Coach said more than one occasion, I was the best damn shooter in Florida. I don't know if you guys knew that. And logically, I can think through that, and I realize maybe I'm not the best shooter in Florida. No, forget that, I am. I'm good. And if we played right now, I'm still that. I still might think too much, but I'm still the best shooter in Florida. If I taste a little blood or something happens, I'm the best shooter in Florida. Get out of my way. But I think it's hilarious because I'm pretty sure he's told Chris Amons that, and I'm pretty sure he told Chad Renfro that, and I'm sure there's a couple other guys in here that told that. Did he? Have you heard that? He told Sean that? I don't know about that part, but no, but it's this weird thing. I'm just thinking about it now. I kind of see how it's BS, but at the same time, I buy it, and I still buy it. And I don't know, maybe there's a deep lesson in there, Thad. Just irrational sense of confidence. You just got to have it to get through some things in life. Just screw it, go for it. You gotta have that part about you. Maybe Gibby has a lot of that. He just goes and stuff gets out of his way. So a little bit of that. Coach put that in me to a certain extent. Gave me a little edge, right? I'm kind of like the quiet deer in the headlights type until I'm not. I still have this little trigger, and for me it's when I get on the court, but learn to push that in other areas of life. If I taste blood or if I hit the ground, I'm a different person. But for the most part, I'm deer in the headlights. That brings me back to probably one of the funniest stories with Coach that I remember. I do not remember the context or situation other than the fact that I was probably looking like this in a huddle. Coach slapped me in the face. he slapped me literally in the face. Wake up, get in the game. And that
or a growth moment, because as I went back to the table, I was reminded about a time that you passed gas in a car and made all of us run outside in the snow in Tennessee.
That was Curl.
Oh, Coach Curl, okay. Well, Coach Curl did it and we ran for it. What was the lesson there?
Don't flagellate in his room.
But I tell you what, that's probably the first time we heard that word was who flagellated?
What was the temperature, if you remember?
Oh, it was in December in Tennessee in the mountains. You made us run. 26 degrees. Ice on the ground. Oh my, 2 inches of snow.
But you did.
And I was injured and you made me run.
Remember, I was on my honeymoon.
I do remember.
You were on your honeymoon.
Yeah.
That woman really loves you. I'm telling you, the stuff you put that woman through. The next and last person, before we wrap it up, is another one of Coach's pupils, another one of his students, a great friend of mine. Although my invite to his wedding got lost in the mail, but a very good friend of mine.